Hey, welcome back. Welcome to another Tales from the Workshop from Mr. Jones Watches, your weekly look behind the scenes of what we get up to here. This week, I've got a very special guest, Mr. Robin Williamson. Robin, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Robin's an artist who we've worked with on a new design that will be coming out on the day that this video is released. So the design's called K9. I would say without further ado, we'll have a look at it. K9 has these two figures in this quite mysterious landscape. The two figures point to the hours. So the figure in blue is your minutes, and then the figure in the orange anorak is the hours. So that'd be like 6 o'clock. But they're in this sort of landscape which at first glance looks naturalistic, like it looks like maybe it's, I don't know, stalactites or mountains or something. But that's not actually what we're seeing. Like what is the landscape composed of?
So it's all based off of a print that I made a few years ago, and the print was based off a dog tooth. So one of my dog tooths, I found it on the floor in the living room, and I thought it looked like a mountain. So I started taking pictures and making collages out of them, and then before too long, I thought they looked a little bit like those old Polar Explorer photographs, high contrast, bright white.
It's interesting because we were talking a bit before as well, like it looks quite an urban landscape in a weird way, although it is kind of clearly referencing that sort of natural world. Somehow it looks like concrete as well, and I don't know, maybe it's the sort of attitude of the two figures. It feels quite urban.
That ambiguity is something that I was quite interested in because, again, so the prints were based off of, well, the other idea that fed into it was these little trips I do with my friends. And the first trip that we did was to the Lake District. I've never seen a landscape like that before, especially when you were just driving into it, you see all these donkey kind of bits of hill and mountains.
No, it's spectacular, it's amazing.
So I wanted to kind of bring that sense of strange new world to the design.
Yeah, super nice.
Something that didn't look particularly familiar.
I guess maybe it's the sort of dot screen part that is making it look kind of less naturalistic. I don't know. I find it is really rich and intriguing design. There's a really nice thing of the sort of the outline that the figures have that almost enhances the sort of collage look that you've got going on. It's worth saying as well, this watch, unlike most recent limited editions we've done, is going to be a 300-piece edition rather than like a 24-hour window. It'll be available in a fixed number, so you can see out of 300. You wanted to sort of reference some of the sort of pictorial elements of that sort of hiking landscape.
Definitely. So I collect all these little patches whenever I do sell anything or go anywhere, and I really love the accomplishment kind of side of things. So focusing on the lone figure at the top of the peak, I really wanted to sort of focus on that. And the font of the numbers, I thought I really wanted to kind of take inspiration from the miles or the height of a certain terrain.
It's those sort of cast iron signs that you see with that are kind of painted.
Yeah.
And you were saying it's part of a series, or there was a series of prints that it kind of evolved from.
It wasn't just the one print that I made. There was a few, and some of them. One that this one's based on is a lot more focused in on the landscape, but others were sort of a lot further away. So like that sense of arriving at that place for the first time and the landscape just appearing out of nowhere, kind of completely drastically changing, was the kind of theme, and the landscape would change in each collage to kind of follow them through their little journey.
Very nice.
Until they got to this.
How many are there in the series? Like how many in the?
I can't quite remember. There was maybe 5.
Okay.
Maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is your creative practice mostly printmaking? I'm sorry, I should have educated myself before this video. Like, do you mostly do printmaking, or you do?
Not really.
Okay.
I used to do a lot of etching, and that was kind of my favourite. I used to make these etching machines. So I did respond to people interacting with them. So I like to think that they were a document of everyone's interactions with the space or with the artwork.
So how? Like you'd have the ground laid down and then walking on it would...
Kind of. So I'd set these little, like the plates up all waxed up and ready to go. And I made these little motors that were hooked up to sensors. So if they were triggered by light or movement, the motors would turn on and kind of move around on the etching plate. I really liked it. It was kind of, you had to be there to experience it, and you had to be there to be able to be a part of it too. And once the show was over, that's it.
Then you had but you wouldn't you'd print them
I'd
after?
Just print them, yeah.
Oh, nice. Let's have a little look through the samples. It's fair to say K9's development, sometimes we have developments that take forever and go through quite big changes along the way. K9's got quite a straightforward development path, I guess because you had such a strong design to start with, maybe?
Yeah, I suppose it was that reference point that we already had, and there was already a clear way that it could be interpreted into a watch, really. It had those layers already.
I mean, you had a 2D image. Actually seeing it in motion is kind of a different thing, isn't it? And it definitely changes the design. Also, I guess putting it into a circle is a different thing. But this was the monochrome sample, the first monochrome sample that we did.
I really like that. I really love the shadows on the white.
Yeah.
White background. Really cool.
I mean, generally at the start of the development process, we do a monochrome sample because it's super quick, but it's also a way for us to test proportion and just get a feel for the design. And there is a really intriguing quality to it, right from this very first stage. We've got this that's, I'm not sure if this is actually a development stage in itself or this is just an assembly with only the hour disc, but it's kind of intriguing on its own to see, that one static layer of teeth and one moving with the character on.
Turning that print into a moving image as well, like we're seeing now, it kind of feeds back into those little trips we do as well. So a friend of mine apparently used to work with maps. He seemingly can't read one, he always seems to get us lost. So I really love the idea that, and he's in the original print from one of these trips that we did. And so it's quite fitting that figures are just going round and round
in circles endlessly.
Yeah.
The next, so this is actually fairly close to production version. The most significant changes that happened between this and release were the character for the minute went from this pale green colour to a blue, and that was really just to do with sort of legibility, and from a distance it was quite hard to spot the pale green alongside the kind of the greys. I think it was the minute figure as well that was bothering me, that it was just a bit ambiguous to read. Were you reading off the leading foot, or was it the angle of the body, or was it the head? Or I think it's a lot clearer now. In the very centre, it goes to a pale colour, and for the actual production one, we went to that dark void in the centre, which, when you catch it in the light right, really kind of just disappears and makes it look like a kind of, you're looking deep into this sort of endless space. For us, every design is different, and one of the things we really value as a company is working with sort of different artists. It's one of the questions we ask generally with any new artists that we work with, is there an overlap with any of our current sort of pool/roster of artists? And we felt that your style and your aesthetics and even the kind of narrative you bring to it is quite different from anything that we've done before, which is really exciting for us. That's kind of what gets us up in the mornings to, it's always a challenge to work with kind of new stuff. I'm really happy with it. I think it's a really good expression of the artwork that we saw in that first print. And that is also our kind of guiding principle, how well does it express that artist's work in a watch form? Yeah. Are you happy with it?
I'm chuffed, yeah.
Okay.
Really chuffed, yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Robin, for the work on the design and for taking the time to come in and talk us through it today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for printing the watch.
Okay, as always, I hope it was an interesting insight into what we get up to here. I look forward to reading your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next week.